Thank you, Roger, and good morning, conference. Good morning. And what a fantastic turnout. This was where we had lunch last year. If you remember, we were in the small seats over there. And what a fantastic morning it is. I am aware that I am all that stands between you and your coffee break. So you will be relieved to hear that I will try and finish on time, lest I should be trampled by 600 UKIPers heading for their teas and coffees. I think I probably want to start by saying that there's nothing unique about Beaconsfield branch. We don't regard ourselves as some sort of elite flagship branch. We've had our ups and downs, our strengths and our weaknesses, our successes and our failures. So we don't think that there's anything sort of uniquely special about our particular branch. So if we can do it in Beaconsfield, then I think pretty much any branch, any UKIP branch can. It is officially one of the safest Conservative seats in the country. They do say that in Beaconsfield they don't count the Tory vote, they weigh it. But we are hoping to do something about that. Okay. There is, some of you may be aware, there is a branch revival programme run by James Moyes from Eastern Region that does run concurrently with the party conference. And I spoke to James. Liz, you'll be delighted to know it was via Twitter. And he did confirm to me that at this year's party conference, which will be in London, third weekend in September, there will be a branch revival programme running there, probably on the Thursday or the Friday. So it might be a good idea, I think, to get someone from your branch to go to that. Well, Okay, get the right button, does help. Okay, why are branches so important? Well, I think at the moment, if you look at UKIP's profile, it's never been higher. Nigel's all over the television. We've got Diane James on Question Time, Paul Nuttall. We've got people like Bill Etheridge and Steve Wolfe, the sort of newer people. So that, if you like, is the air war. But like any good military campaign, you also need a ground war. So you're the ground war. Branches are the ground war in UKIP. And if you look at those places where we've done well, places like Skegness and Thanet and Aylesbury, it's no coincidence that there's an active branch there. I was just talking to Chris Adams a moment ago. I really think we can win Aylesbury in 2015. I think we can win seats in 2015. Wouldn't it be fantastic? Wouldn't it be fantastic if we could win some seats in 2015? And I think we can start to appeal to people, and we can use first past the post to our advantage here. Normally it doesn't suit us, but we can say to Labour and Liberal Democrat voters, there's no point voting Labour or Liberal Democrat here in Aylesbury or in Thanet or in Skegness, because all you're going to do is increase the size of the Conservative majority. So that's why I think branches are so important. So I want to preface what I say by talking about leadership, because we do need, yes, we need more foot soldiers in UKIP, we need more leafleters, we need more members, but we also need, if I can use another military analogy, we also need more officers. We need people who are prepared to step up and say, yes, I want to get involved, I want to lead from the front. And when you have the privilege of being a UKIP branch chair, and it is a privilege, as Roger said, you are chief volunteer. He's chief volunteer for the region. When you're the branch chair, you are chief volunteer for your branch. So, when the whistle blows, you've got to be the first, or one of the first, up that ladder and leading the charge. You can't be an armchair chairman. Okay, I think it's probably worth looking at where your branch is now. It might be worth doing something like what they call a SWOT analysis, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and looking at your branch and taking stock of where your branch is now and where you'd like to move it on to. So, how do you move your branch from from less votes to more votes, less members to more members, less activity to more activity, less activists to more activists? There is one of the great things is that seeing the number of new UKIP branches that we're getting. And we've had a couple of neighbouring branches that have reactivated, High Wycombe under the chairmanship of Brian Mapletoft and Slough under the chairmanship of Ken White. They were not active branches previously. There is a procedure for that, and the best thing to do is to do that via regional office. Now, here's a good place to start if you haven't already, or if you haven't done this for a while. Phone up head office and ask for your branch database. They won't email it to you for security reasons, quite rightly, but they will post it to you. They will post you your branch database. So if you've never done that before, if you haven't done it for a while, give head office a ring in the next week or two. On your branch database, you will see 4 categories: members, ex-members, inquirers, and supporters. Helpfully, the ex-members includes the date that their membership lapsed. One of the things that we're going to be doing in Beaconsfield is approaching people whose membership has lapsed relatively recently. I don't think there's any point wasting time going back to people whose memberships lapsed in 2003, but start approaching people whose memberships have lapsed maybe since the election. You'll also have inquirers on there who are people who phoned up and asked for more information. We've also got, on our branch list, we've also got 12 or 15 people listed as supporters. We're going to try and turn those into members. So it's about trying to turn ex-members, inquirers, and supporters into members, and then also maximising the membership involvement and maximising your membership. So, excuse me, head office will also send you address labels, which is quite helpful. So, also, the other thing to have a look at, here's our Beaconsfield branch committee: Chris Harding, Sue Fagan, Anne Marshall, and Penny Hill. Don't be afraid to tweak or even change the leadership of your branch if you think it needs it. We've recently created, for example, the post of deputy chair, which we've never had before. So it is about getting the right people in the right slots and doing the right thing. After Liz's talk, I'm starting to realise we probably need somebody on the committee to look after social media, because I think that's so important. Getting the members involved. This I know is a little bit of a trial for many branches. I'm sure we're not the only branch where we really do need to get the members more involved. And there's several things that you can be doing there. One of the things that I've done is start with your branch database and start to build up an email list, which you can then email people out. So we've got about 95 members in Beaconsfield. We've got an email address for about 70. And it's a quick and convenient way of getting in touch with people. So, of course, not everybody gets it. I think not everyone's on email. I think some people's spam filters get in the way. But I write out probably twice a month by email, publicise this conference by email, and there's 9 or 10 of us here from the branch today. Also, write by post, because not everybody's on email, and I think post usually gets through. So we write 2 or 3 times a year to the membership, particularly for the AGM. We make a bit of an occasion of the AGM. We sort of big it up a bit. We had 18 for our AGM in February. We've never had more than 10 or 12 before. Do you have somebody in your branch who runs their own business or who's got a staffed office? We've got somebody in our branch who does that. He's got a staffed office. He's got a proper printer. It doesn't take 10 minutes to print off one letter. He's got a franking machine. He's agreed to do all our mail-outs, all our branch mail-outs at no cost. You might have somebody like that in your branch who can help. Phone people up, get in touch with them by email, touch by phone, welcome new members. New members should always be welcomed. And if you need new activists, don't forget new members. New members equals new activists. Elections is a good way of getting the branch working together. There's nothing better. One of the great ways we started working together as a branch was last year we had a by-election. That really got the branch working. You tend to find people fade or come to the fore. Some people that you'd hope would get involved seem to be sort of mysteriously unavailable during the election campaign. I had one guy, when I phoned him up to ask him if he could help us with some leafleting, he said he couldn't, as he had hurt himself playing golf. But you do get some people who come to the fore, some people who you can identify as being rising stars. Get to know your local press. It's the Bucks Advertiser in our case. We've never really had much of a presence with the press before, but they've got a newspaper to fill. Every week they've got a letters page to fill. We're now getting letters in, pub closures, Heathrow Airport expansion. The local MP, who's Dominic Grieve, he's a big enthusiast on votes for prisoners. This kind of coverage, this particular story here went in after that by-election last year where we came second with 30% of the vote. You know, they do say one letter or one article is worth 500 leaflets. Money. You know, show me the money. It costs money, doesn't it? Our target electoral division, which we lost by 40 votes, by the way, we spent the full £950 on that campaign. We always run an annual appeal at the AGM. That yielded, I think, £400. Ask people for money. I phoned one guy up, asked him if he could help us with leafleting. He said he didn't think he could because he'd done his bit, which is probably fair, he had. I knew he was quite wealthy. I said to him, well, do you think you might be able to support the branch financially? He said, oh, I'll give you a ring and call you back. I thought, oh, he's just fobbing me off. He rang me back an hour later and said, I've had a think, had a chat with my other half, and I'm going to send you a cheque for £1,000, which was very well received. So if you ask people for money, we've raised £1,700 so far this year at the branch. That does include the one big donation. But even the 700, I think, would be quite good. Don't forget, you get the first year's sub if you intercept the cheque and you can bank it. That's probably a discussion for another day, I think. Okay, websites, leaflets, social media. I think Liz Jones's talk was right on the money. Do you have a branch website? Maybe you should if you don't. All our leaflets that went out during the county council election had our branch website address on it, ukip-beaconsfield.com. Who's on Facebook or Twitter? I wasn't on Facebook or Twitter at all until I joined UKIP. I think we're only starting to scratch the surface. I think Liz Jones probably talked about that far better than I could. Can people find you? Is your branch accessible? Let's say I had voted UKIP during your county elections. And I then asked myself, well, having voted UKIP, I wonder if there's a local branch. Could I find you? Could I find your branch? If I went to ukip.org and I found the branches tab and I clicked on it, is your branch listed under the branches tab on ukip.org? If it is listed, does it have up-to-date contact details? Does it have a name? Does it have a phone number? Does it have an email address? Not everybody's comfortable phoning up. If I went onto Google and I typed in UKIP and then the name of your branch, or UKIP and the name of your town, or UKIP and the name of your constituency, would your branch come up? Would I find your branch? I should be able to. And you know, that might be worth trying if you've never done that. Okay, meet regularly. This was our AGM. We have a branch banner as well. This was a turnout at our AGM. But please, you know, action, not waffle. That's what's needed from meetings. What we tend to do is we tend to alternate. We have an all-branch meeting and then a committee meeting. All-branch meeting, then a committee meeting. Guess which takes longer? It's the all-branch meeting, of course. And I think sometimes, you know, you need to chair these. There is a bit of an art to chairing these meetings. In UKIP, we're all fairly strong characters. We've all got fairly strong opinions. We all want to get our tuppence worth in, quite rightly. But there is a fine line to be trod between allowing everybody to have their say and allowing the same old people to bang on about the same old stuff. So, you know, meetings do need to be sympathetically, but I think at times tightly chaired. Reach out, multiple contact points. Here was something we did in Beaconsfield High Street not so long ago. It was quite well received. We went out and you know, did some leafleting and a sort of street stall kind of a thing. Okay, well, it's time for your coffee break. So my last point is this. If we do not want Britain to go to hell in a handcart, we need a strong UKIP, and that means strong branches. Thank you.